Welcome back to Industrial Problem Solving. My name is Dave Roysum. Here we continue our tour of even more ways that you can get stuck in problem solving. This one is mostly about people. Recall in the second major section of this course we talked about data sources and made much mention of how people can be essential for information and ideas. Yet, people can also be an impediment to problem solving. Indeed, a single person can be both a help and a hindrance at the same time. Find out why. Some things just can't be rushed. Problem solving may be one of them. Putting a pile of people in a room will not necessarily speed up the process. Indeed, as we saw in an earlier module, it may well slow the process. On the other hand, there are also ways to too loosely schedule problem solving. The classic here may be to hand it off to R&D. While R&D has many useful roles, problem solving may not be one of them, though I have seen many exceptions. In the next slide, we will expand and clarify on this idea. The key idea here is that there is an optimum amount of stress for peak productivity. Of course, that optimum amount depends a bit on the individual and the situation. However, in all cases, too much stimulation can cause brain freeze. In all cases, too little stimulation can cause boredom. Too many projects, not enough money, and not enough support. Anyone ever run into these issues? I thought so. As we will see in the upcoming section on logic, science by consensus is a fallacy, or, in layman's term, an error in thinking. The reasons are many. First, the majority view is not necessarily the best one. Second, the current consensus, sometimes called zeitgeist, often changes with time. While everyone is entitled to their own opinion, not every opinion is as good as the next. The shape tool that we covered in an earlier module is often the very best first screen of ideas and opinions. Other modules gave us other tools to determine which idea best fits the mechanics. Everyone has biases. However, I'm not referring to political or racial biases that is so much a part of our current political discussion. Instead, it is biases on matters of mechanics or physics or science. Even the giants of science, such as Galileo, was blinded by biased beliefs. The chief surgeon story is a puzzle. Pause the tape and see if you can figure it out. You will absolutely know it when you get the correct answer. Ideas sometimes die before they are even born. Sometimes this is due to bosses who make you think that we can't say or we can't do that. Sometimes we do it to ourselves when we kill our own ideas before they've had a chance to be fully explored. Here is a puzzle. Pause the tape and see if you can figure it out. When you have a perfectly functional answer to this, admittedly contrived problem, you will know it because most will not be able to say it in a business setting. Yes, People are one of our greatest sources of information and ideas. Yet, people also can be impediments as well. Pause the tape, read, reread, and meditate on some of the many ways that people can slow the problem-solving process. I finished this module with some bonus pitfalls having to do with projects. The first is what I call feeding frenzy. This often happens at the start of the fiscal year or when buying machinery. In both cases, money is loosed on an organization and people tend to go crazy. In the worst case, it's like sharks or piranhas feeding on meat. The second is what is called use it or lose it. At the end of the fiscal year, you need to spend the rest of your budgeted money or you will not only lose it, the boss may give you even less money next year. Finally, mission creep. This happens whenever a problem is not clearly defined, as we covered in the first section of this course. However, it can happen during the process as well if people forget what they are supposed to focus on. Thank you so very much for joining me in the problem-solving process. Like and share if I've given you any new ideas. Stay tuned for even more web handling, converting, winding, and problem-solving topics. Don't miss a thing. Subscribe now to my All Web Handling channel.